Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another week. We are doing biggest event planning mistake and their solution. It's a hot topic. There's so many things that can go wrong. Whether you've been thrown into planning or have been planning events all your life, you can always expect something, some kind of unexpected challenge. Events, no matter how well you script them, how well you plan, and all the checklists and everything, they're like little unruly kids, little 2 year olds. Something can happen. And things never go quite as planned. It's important to have a comprehensive game plan in place for every scenario that you can imagine. That way, you can adapt and be flexible like water. And even if you encounter a hiccup, you'll have something in your toolkit to be able to manage through it. Good morning, beautiful Dahlia. Yep, today we are doing another event planning mistake and its solution. So, my name is Melody Dixon, and I'm the CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco focused events. I plan events for people who are steeped in all things sustainability. It's in their home life, it's in their business, it's in their events, and that's why we work together. I also support people who have no idea about sustainability, but I guess maybe a seed was planted, or maybe they're noticing on their invoices an increase in paper. The water bill is going up, the energy bill is going up. There's a lot of wastage at their events. So they're noticing that they're losing money or wasting money, and they want to make a positive change. So they reach out to me so I can support them in that respect, because I am aligned with all things eco focused and sustainability, and it also gets to make them money. So I show them little steps, baby steps, break them in, and that over time, all the steps I show them, all the things we do, when compounded, make a big positive impact on the environment and their bottom line. Good morning, Julie Beautiful. Good morning. Welcome to Eco 3 TV. We're doing this week the biggest event planning mistakes and their solutions. And I work with people who are all about sustainability, and also those who have no idea, but they're curious. And so I support them in that respect. So, what is sustainability? It is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I like to explain it in melody speak as God is expansive and big and creative and intentional. So, you know how God creates certain flowers, certain butterflies. That's a lot of intention. So, we, by virtue of coming from God, are intentional and creative in that respect. So, we get to create our own interpretation of art and music and write. We invent things, we start a business, all the wonderful things. But we get to do so intentionally so that for the rest of our lives, we can have access to the same resources we used to be expansive. But our kids can have access, our kids' kids, and people 10 generations deep can have access to the resources. Now, there are three pillars to sustainability. The first one is the environment. We get to reduce the use of what we already have. Like if you have a water container, you can't find it. Instead of looking for it, most of us would just go buy another one. Well, let's not do that. Let's reduce the use of spending money randomly, because money is a resource. So we get to keep the water container where all the water containers go. So when we need it, we go right there for it. We get to reuse what we already have instead of buying something new. And we get to recycle. I like to squeeze in Brianna. Good morning, beautiful. Today we're talking about the biggest event planning mistakes and their solutions. And we were talking about sustainability, what it means, and we just we're going through the three pillars of sustainability. The first one is the environment, to reduce, reuse, and recycle. And we talked about what reducing is, just lessen the amount of resources we're using, because sometimes it's just a waste. Like we waste money. The example I gave is if we have a water bottle, we can't find it. Instead of looking for it, we go buy another one. So we're wasting money. We're wasting time to go buy another one when we already have it in the house. And we're wasting energy resources because we're jumping in the car to go buy the thing. Or we're going on Amazon, which tech is still using energy. And it's a waste because you already have it in the house. So just keep it where you can always go to that spot to get the water bottle. So that's reducing, reusing what we already have, and recycling. I like to squeeze a fourth in this section. I call it upcycling. And I get that example from the show that used to come on HGTV called Flea Market Flip. They would take the junkiest broken down thing and transform it. Old Western wagon wheels, they convert into a coffee table. Fish tank stands, they convert into shelving. Old filing cabinets, they to bookshelves. They're so creative. And what that does is it prevents the furniture from going into the landfill sooner, because landfill is just they dig a hole in the ground and they just dump the junk that we consume and then toss out when we are tired of it or it's old and broken down. They just dump it in the earth, and there's only a finite space on earth for all the junk that we have. So that show would take the old junk, transform it, transmute it into something new so that it can serve different people, serve a different purpose, and get a whole new life cycle in the scope of resources. The second is economics. As entrepreneurs, we get to create a business, and the business, we need people to service the business. So we're creating jobs. And when people work for us, they're able to take care of their family. And in turn, we get to make some money. So it's a whole mutually beneficial cycle. And so economics is a big thing. So what also happens is we get to be eco-focused in our business. So if we have fluorescent lighting, we get to toss that out and put LED. We get to manage the amount of paper waste or water waste. And what that does, yes, you spend money on the offset in buying the bulb and putting some kind of water management system in place. We get to there's a cost initially, but over time, when you look on your bill, you'll see the reduction in the expense. The third is social responsibility. We get to give people jobs, a place to live, food to eat, health care, a way to earn a living, all the things so that we are loving our neighbors as ourselves, in essence. So those are the three pillars of sustainability. And it colors everything, or it should color everything that we're doing, how we run our lives, how we run our business, how we run our events. Today, we are going to unpack how to be ready for anything at events. That's a big one. Picture this. You spend like 3 months planning your events. Now, if you see me look up here, this is Instagram, down here it's YouTube. You spend 3 months planning your event, and it's event day and you're like, yes, you're ready. But then you notice little things start going wrong. Things are missing. And if you're not an experienced event planner, you can be caught off guard, going to overwhelm, and then go into straight on, full on panic mode. So I'm going to list out quite a few things that can go wrong. And I'm going to choose 3 and then tackle those. All right. Weather issues. You run out of food. The speakers get stuck in traffic. Attendees don't show up. Not enough event space. The bar tab, if you're doing like a cash bar or hosted bar, where you pay for the guests' drinks and the tab goes way too high. The weather is too hot or it's too cold, or the speaker can't find their notes. Missing event items. There's just a list of way too much leftover foods. just so many things that can go wrong. And it makes sense to have a professional on your team who's able to help you navigate. So I have chosen three things that could go wrong and their solution. The first one is bad weather. Now, being a tree hugger, I love all types of weather, whether it's a storm or it's really dry, there's a benefit to everything. There's a purpose for every type of weather that we experience. But when it comes to your event, it can be an inconvenience if it's too hot, or if it's too cold, or if it's too windy, or if it's rainy. One of the things that I like to do, especially if I'm having an outdoor event, is to have what I call an inclement weather space. And this is a space that we can move the event to maybe shortly before it's scheduled to start if you're noticing the weather isn't changing for the better, or if something wild comes up and you can run to that space in the middle of the event. Not my favorite, but it's a plan B. And I've had inclement weather spaces for beach weddings. You know how Florida is. There's a rain that will pass over around 3:30-ish in the afternoon, and most ceremonies start a good 4:30, 5 o'clock, because sun is starting to, it's not that boiling hot on the beach. There's oftentimes a wind at that time, but it can be rainy. So whenever I'm choosing a venue, because I have the foresight that something may happen, I always ask the venue, what is your inclement weather space? And it's typically a space close to the beach area that we can decide maybe up until 1 hour before start time if the whole event is moving to that space. And I watch the weather. There are some venues that I worked with in Miami, on Miami Beach. They have a really good weather app that gives you like minute by minute, up to the date current information. And it's a paid app, and it's more, I guess, detailed than just going to weather.com. And so we watch that and we communicate constantly. And if we see that there's going to be a thunderstorm that's going to pass over, you can tell with the clouds and what time it's going to hit your area. You can decide, we're going to use the inclement weather space. And then you inform the bride and the groom. They may not like it. They may say, let's hold off and wait until the storm passes and then we have the ceremony. That's their call, but they get to have both options. If they say, let the storm pass, that means everything that's already set up on the beach can get wet. And the staff will find paper towels and towels from the hotel and dry off all the seats and everything after the storm passes or the heavy rains pass. But we have that inclement weather backup options. I've done outdoor events where it's not on the beach, but it's more like in a garden setting. We rent ahead of time these giant fans that are industrial looking, not particularly sexy in their appearance, but very effective. And they're a good 7 feet tall by just about that wide. It's square and it's just powerful. And we elevate it, and it can cover a good portion of the audience, one on either side and from the back or in the front. So everybody gets cooled. There's also misters that you can get if you have like a picnic at the park. It's a giant fan that you put ice in, and it blows the air over the audience. It doesn't soak them, but it's like little cool mists of coolness. And it works. I've done a wedding on Fisher Island. I want to say it was like with you, Brianna, right? They had these heaters right by the water where the reception was. They're tall, and you can see like the flame going up to the center, and it allows the people in that area to get very warm and comfortable, and they kind of intersperse it around the seating. Very, very effective because that night was super cold. So bad weather is not a bad thing, but as a professional, you get to know all the resources that you need to make your guests comfortable. Number two is the unforeseen little things. And to combat that, I have my trusty toolkit. I got this at your local, they're everywhere. You can, I'm sure Walmart has their version. It's a Craftsman, it's very sturdy. Yes, it is plastic, but it lasts a long time and it's very reusable. You can store everything in it. So it opens up like this. And I have some interesting things that I'm going to share with you that I have in there. It has an insert like this. And here I have like a little sewing kit for ripped pants or ripped dresses. I have a lighter. I have some lip gloss that you can dab the Q-tip on it and put it on the person's lip just to be sanitary. And the thing I want to feature is this garbage bag. I did a wedding in Hollywood quite a few years ago, and the bride had like a ball gown dress, and she wanted to go use the restroom. And I had, went with her. We got really up close and personal in the stall. And this was a savior. It's just a regular garbage bag, and we cut 2 holes in the bottom. And what we did when we opened it out, her dress was able to be stuffed in the bag, and she was able to lift it up comfortably so that it's not dragging on the ground. And we made sure that she was safe and she was able to pee. Very effective, and it's rustic in appearance, but when you need to go to the restroom, you need to go to the restroom. So we made it work. What else do we have? We have wire cutters, markers, scissors, all the things that you'll need. Sometimes I'll have painkillers because on the wedding day, sometimes the bride gets stressed out and will have a headache. Brianna and I had a situation where the bride was late and she was hyperventilating and she was feeling dizzy and the whole thing. It was such a drama. So it makes sense to have these little cases with water, painkillers, lip gloss, all the little things that if you don't have them can become a big thing. All right, number 3, and this is a big one. The venue not honoring the contract. Now, this didn't happen at my event, but a potential client of mine shared this experience, and that's why she reached out to me. She was having a women's retreat, and what we're back on YouTube. Okay, great. Yes, so she thought she could do everything. So as she's having her people manage the registration and people are coming in, she's doing a walkthrough and noticing that certain things that they promised were missing. Her guests are arriving, so now she's chasing down the hotel salesperson with the BEO, the banquet event order, and that's the paper, the document that lists out this is what we're having for audiovisual, this is what we're having for food, this is what we're having for anything to do with the event space. It's all listed on the banquet event order. She's like, you promised and it's not here. My people are coming. And she's stressed out. They're hunting down the salesperson. They're stressed out. They're hunting down the chef. They're hunting down the front desk and housekeeping and all the people in the venue. And if she'd hired an event planner from the get-go, that would have been something that would have been tackled a long time ago. And here's how I would tackle that. Typically, about 2 weeks before the event, I have what's called a pre-con. And this is a pre-conference meeting. And I decide to do it 2 weeks before so that I could meet with all the staff at the hotel if the event is at a hotel banquet room. The chef is there, the general manager is there, reservations manager, front desk, salesperson, maintenance, housekeeping manager, and myself and the client. And we would go around the table and we'd introduce ourselves and ourselves and make sure that all the business cards for and direct numbers and everything are forwarded to me so that on the day of if I need to meet somebody or need to find somebody, I can find them. And we run through the event and we run through the role of each person in the event and we hold them accountable. Because on record in front of everyone, we know that housekeeping should have the VIP person's room ready by 2 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock check-in time. We know that banquet staff should have the meeting room accessible or give us access to the meeting room at like 8 o'clock in the morning so we can set up and decorate and get ready. And we need to have the tables and here's the floor plan. The chef will make sure that the menu is as what's needed. And there's food on there for somebody who is vegan. If somebody's allergic, they know who that is and where they'll be sitting. And all the details are ironed out. On the morning of the event, as a planner, I will touch base with each person, each department, and make sure that they're, kind of refresh them. Remember, you're supposed to do that. Remember, you're supposed to do that, so on and so forth. So that frees up my client to focus on kind of rehearsing her keynote speech or getting primed and dressed and ready for her event. So she's not doing both. She gets back her time. She gets back her peace of mind because she knows a lot of foresight and planning has gone into the event. And we even, the pre-con is even done 2 weeks before so that if during the meeting we discover that we're missing a thing or we didn't arrange for a thing, we have 2 weeks to get it done, to order it, to have it delivered, to have it created, all the things. So on the day of the event, we're not rushing and scrambling. It's all in order according to the itinerary. The run-up show is going great. AV is set up, and the client doesn't have to worry about a thing. Now, all of this could be a lot for somebody to manage. It certainly was for that lady who wanted to hire me. She was so stressed out, and she really didn't get to enjoy her event because she trusted the venue and they didn't honor their word. So for the rest of I think it was a 3-day event, she was anxious and double checking and feeling like she's forgetting something. And that took away her peace of mind. So she didn't really fully enjoy her experience because she was trying to do everything herself. To save clients from that, I have what's called my pro event package. This is what I like to call the #HireItDone. It's a package that allows you to tell me about your 3-day women's retreat or your conference or your wedding. And this is the look and feel that you want. This is the goal of the event and the purpose, and this is the return on investment you're looking for. And then this is the money you have to do it. I take all that information, put it together, and I hit the ground running and take care of it for you. And that gives you certainty and peace of mind. And also, because of my relationship with vendors, you get to be more intentional with your financial resources. Save some money and maybe put it into something else. Maybe beef up your entertainment because you've saved money on other things. So for Instagram, the link is in the bio. For YouTube, the link is in the description of the live. Click it to learn more. It details everything that I do for you in the pro event package. If you have any questions on weddings, parties, corporate events, you're not sure how to proceed, you're looking to have one, and you really don't want to have the anxiety of managing a pre-con meeting or chasing down venue personnel and vendors, let's connect. My name is Melody Dixon, CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. My email address is info@myproeventplanners. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dahlia, Julie, and Brianna. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow morning when we tackle some other biggest event planning mistakes and their solutions. Thank you. Take care and see you tomorrow.